isn't your normal classic car shop. This is DWS Classic. Whether it's buying them to flip them, building them to show them, or just driving the wheels out of them, we've got the best jobs in the world. Iconic vehicles from the past were meant to be driven. This is history driven. We've been out in the back roads of Coachella Valley out here in Southern California. Lots of two-lane highways. A lot of places to open up these cars that we're in today. Oh, what a trip. These big old cars, the big wings, the crazy noses on them. I mean, these guys are hauling ass, you know, and this thing sticks to the road like it's glued to it. It's amazing, you know, the aerodynamics and what they did for those cars, even 50 years later.
There's nothing like driving that car up the hill and being able to pass every single car when you want to get somewhere. It's just exciting. I enjoy it. I find it exciting to drive fast, but I enjoy going up and down the whoop-de-doos and just driving, and you think about nothing else. It's different driving these cars compared to the newer models on the market. It's just really enjoyable. I just love the sleek lines of it, and I love the sunroof. That's probably my favorite thing. And the radio, the old school radios are my favorite things. And the fast engine. I've found that car people are just genuine people. They're pretty kind. They're easy to talk to. They never not have anything to say. I've just met a lot of really nice people. I think that's the funnest thing about being around the cars. The most enjoyable thing is the people.
We just always had Chargers. I mean, ever since I came home from the hospital in '68 Charger RT, a green one, and my sister came home from the hospital in this '69 Daytona in 1972, and she took her driver's test in it also when she was 16. But we've just always had Chargers, Charger RTs, and Charger Daytonas and Charger 500s. I wouldn't own it if I couldn't drive it. That '69 Daytona is my newest car. That's all I drive.
You know, the fun thing about driving that car, number one, is the 4-speed, the pistol grip. It really gets you in the driving mode. The funny thing about those cars is that when you hit about 84 miles an hour, that's when you actually feel the nose and the wing start to take over. And the faster you go, the smoother it gets. It's just a really weird feeling about them. It's just smooth and you don't even hear the engine anymore, and it's just flying. It's like an airplane. So back to the original, questions, why the Dodge? It's just something I think that you have inside that you're either gonna like them or you don't. I just love the shape of my Charger's my favorite car. Of course, the Daytona, which is based off a Charger, Superbirds, they all have the same look. The Challengers, the Cudas, they're just big engines, raw horsepower. They handle excellent for the size of the car. That's one of the things that surprises a lot of people, how good these cars handle. And because they're big cars, but they handle excellent, which I think that's what they were built for. Family man that wanted to ricky race around with the whole family in the car. Mopar or no car. That's what I would say about Dodge. Mopar or no car.
History Driven is brought to you by Chevrolet Performance, fueling the passion of automotive enthusiasts by offering great engines, transmissions, blocks, and components for project cars. Total Cost Involved, Engineering Incorporated. Quality doesn't cost, it pays. Eddie Motorsports. Products for the specialty automotive industry that are high in quality and available for an affordable price. And by Pour 15, professional automotive and industrial coatings for permanent rust and corrosion protection.
Walking into Chris's garage/museum, I'd say it's more of a museum, really. He's got some of the nicest Dodge collector cars. This guy is a die-hard Dodge guy all the way. He's got a bunch of Chargers. He's got about $1 zillion worth of cars in there as a collection. This guy is really a die-hard Mopar guy. Oh man, this thing, look at this garage, this is awesome. Dude, the guy is a Charger guy and Superbirds, but obviously a couple badass E-bodies. He's got himself a 70 Cuda here. Cool memorabilia everywhere, Hot Wheels, model cars. Some pretty sick pictures, it looks like, of his own stuff out on the road. Holy cow, dude, the guy's got $1 zillion worth of the best badass Mopars you can think of. Look at this, the dream garage, dude, something I can only wish I could get someday. A bunch of cool cars. But this is what we really came to see, was the last sold Superbird, signed by Richard Petty, original unrestored, low mileage, really freaking cool. What a nice time capsule piece of history this thing is. I hear this is Chris's first car that he ever had, and he was 14 years old and spent under $500 to get this, and I guess it was one of his neighbors, and he said, if your dad's okay with it, You're gonna have to push it down the street because it doesn't run, and I don't know what's wrong with it. But what a nice car. I mean, a 68, to me, the ultimate Charger right here. It's an RT 440, automatic trans, numbers matching. He took this thing and hot rodded it as a kid. I guess he had about 600 horsepower and it was all done up like, you know, stink bug and whatever. And he went back to original later on with this thing, and now it looks like what you see here, just like it's off the showroom floor. I was born in 68, so if I'm gonna get a car that was like my birth year, this is exactly the one I want. I wouldn't want any other 68 vehicles but a Charger. So I love that. 69 here, bunch of new stuff. Holy crap, a Viper. Dude, this guy's got it all. He's got the ultimate garage. It's easy to say, you know, my God.
History Driven is brought to you by Chevrolet Performance, fueling the passion of automotive enthusiasts by offering great engines, transmissions, blocks, and components for project cars. 415, professional automotive and industrial coatings for permanent rust and corrosion protection. Eddie Motorsports, products for the specialty automotive industry that are high in quality and available for an affordable price. And by Total Cost Involved Engineering Incorporated. Quality doesn't cost, it pays.
My favorite car is always going to be my 68 Dodge Charger, which is my first car. You know, it might not be the most valuable one, but it is to me because of what it represents and what it is.
You go out to the garage, in the back of your mind, you kind of analyze what you're going to do, where you're going to go, you know, and so you take a car accordingly. It could be a convertible, a muscle car, a luxury car. It's just whatever the mood is. I'm like Sean, we love different cars. And I've had Chevys, Fords, Continentals, Lincolns, you name it. I've had a lot of that other stuff. But I've always come back to where I like Dodge for some reason. Well, my wife beat me in a drag race. She was driving a Dodge, I was driving a Chevy. So I says, I'm in the wrong car. So that got me into the Dodges. So I traded that 55 Chevy for a 57 Dodge. I traded that in on a new 66 Charger, and then that was traded in on a new 68 Charger RT, and from then on, Daytonas, 500s, RTs. I had a Bird, but it was only for a couple hours because a guy offered me more money when I got it before I got home with it. But this car, I bought it as a parts car in case the other Daytona ever was hit. This sheet metal is a rust-free car, and I thought, I'll just keep it around in case it ever gets hit. So, never did. Sold the other Daytona in '89. So then, '89, I started putting this together to make it a driver. And then it was used in the Spice Girls music video. And So then I decided, well, I'm going to make it look like Neil Castle's race car because he's still alive. So I have him drive it at Talladega and Darlington, wherever we do the racing pre-race laps before the 500s. So I would have Neil drive it, and he just thought it was an honor to do a car in his name, you know. But the other problems that there were back then, there weren't, the tire technology wasn't there. The tires would not withhold or not stand the 210, 20 mile an hour capabilities these cars had. In tests, the absolute top speed of a Daytona, 650 horse in the test mule, the number 88 car, was 243 miles an hour. That was never attained on the Talladega. That's almost half the size of Chelsea. So they knew they had a good thing when they were accidentally going faster than they ever thought possible. You guys wanted me to burn rubber. It won't do it, and I don't mind. Because to me, if you're spinning the tires, you're not going that direction. A street car that can do that back then, this is 50 years old. No technology here. You have to do all the input. You get this inner feeling that I need speed. I need that power feeling. I'm almost 75 years old and I've never grown up. So.
We just got back from having all of our fun out in the desert with these wing cars. It was pretty incredible riding around in those things and seeing those historic cars. You know, they're so rare, and getting the ones we did together, you know, it's tough to do, to get wing cars all together at one time like that. So it kind of inspired me to get back home. You know, we're back in Huntington Beach. I decided to pull out my 65 Coronet Hemi car and take it for a cruise because I felt like going fast and, you know, making a lot of noise and getting some attention. And this thing is just a blast to drive. This Coronet's my pride and joy. I built this thing about 20 years ago. It was one of those, I had to have it, so I sold a GTO and some other stuff and got my money together, and I went out and found a really clean Coronet and put about a 700 horsepower motor in there with a cross ram and all that good stuff, and a manual valve body, so I got to shift it myself is what that means. And the thing is so much fun. It's noisy, it's loud, it sounds like you're out at the drags, and when I stomp on this thing with the open exhaust, it makes so much noise, the whole thing's vibrating. So the cars that we went out and saw out in Palm Springs and we're driving around in, those wing cars, you know, those are considered a B body. That is what they are. So this is an early B body. These are the predecessors to that. You know, Dodge, whenever they put their mind to it and they wanted to go out racing and dominate and really win, you know, they put it all together, and these cars went out there and just blew everybody away. You know, I built this car in my driveway and in my garage, basically, when I used to work at the dealership. I didn't have a shop quite yet. You know, I'd build a couple cars. I'd have one going in the driveway, one was in the garage. I might have one parked on the street. I'm rotating them around so I don't get a parking ticket. So I built this thing over about 2 years, partially in my driveway. And then when we got the Hemi engine put in it, well, I had to tuck it in the garage so nobody'd steal the thing. Everything about it's holding up. And I'm proud to say that I built this car so long ago and it still looks like a new build. The thing's got monster torque, it's louder than shit. I mean, it is so much fun to drive. I can't even describe it, you know. Everybody I take for a ride in it, they all chuckle when I haul ass and then let off the gas and start coasting. Everybody bursts out in laughter and oh my God, and I can't believe how fast this thing is. You know, because the front end comes up, you know, and they say, I couldn't even see over the hood. I couldn't see the road, you know, and it's like, yeah, that's because we're really getting on it, you know, and getting it done. So, you know, I like to show it off and take people for rides. And, you know, there's nothing better to drive than a real dragster like this thing.